I have noticed that when we don't keep things simple, we create this flurry of activity and energy around something that is actually causing us to be more stressed, more anxious, more frazzled than just sitting in whatever it is and knowing that that's enough.
When we start to feel the anxiety and the pressure, it's because we're not in balance or in harmony with what is fulfilling to us. We're just machines. We're turning ourselves into machines instead of embracing things that we can do with our minds, with our hands, that has nothing to do with paying a bill.
Welcome to the Success Resequencing Project. I'm Debbie Ponticus.
And I'm Jenn Newman.
Join us as we challenge the traditional definitions of success so you can build a fulfilling path of your own.
Get ready for inspired, candid conversations while gaining tools, inspiration, and confidence to create your own authentic success story.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Okay.
This is us.
This is us. It's a Monday.
Isn't there a sitcom back in the 70s that was like, This Is Us or something like that? No. But
This Is Us was actually recent.
Oh.
Did you watch that?
Oh, that's right. No, I didn't watch that.
I think you would really love that.
I am currently binge watching baking shows on Netflix. So that's my current love.
Are you talking are you getting into holiday mode?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so are you back with Great British Baking Show?
No, so I did one episode of that.
Yeah.
But then I didn't want to get into the new one yet because Great British Baking Show is for Christmas. Listen, Dusty almost came out.
Dusty came out then. Yeah.
That's Christmas. But so now I'm...
Oh, that's right. Because you like to do that over the holidays when you're on your holiday break.
Yep.
When you can get up in your early mornings and have your coffee and the lights on the tree and then watch British Baking Show.
Thank you. But so I'm doing the Halloween ones. So they have Halloween bake-offs, the Halloween cookie things. Yeah, it's good stuff. So that's where I am.
But
I will put that on my list after the holidays to watch This Is Us.
I think you're going to love it. I think you'll love it. I'm so glad that we could take our listeners and our friends on that journey of our television watching.
Yes, it's how we center ourselves.
I was going to say it does help us center, but we were talking actually earlier before we came into the studio about one of the cooking shows that you're watching is about chefs.
Yes.
And
Chef's
their
Table.
Backstories.
Yep.
Yes.
Netflix, Chef's Table. It's excellent. And this is all, I have to give all of this credit to Ari.
Yes.
Because these are shows that he watches and then he pulls me in and says, he literally actually sat me down for this one episode and said, this is success resequencing. You need to sit down and watch this episode because you're going to be motivated by it on what his message is. And it was an episode and the chef was Evan Funke. And I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I would love to. Funke is a great last name.
It's a great last name.
Okay.
Yeah. So his journey, and if you haven't seen Chef's Table, they basically take you through the journey of a specific chef for each episode and kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And how they got to where they are, right?
Yep.
It is basically what we talk about. Nothing is linear. None of these chefs had a perfect story on how they became, Michelin star chefs or whatever it is. But in this particular episode, what was really interesting was he, as a young child, had parents that said, whatever you want, we'll support you. Find your passion. We don't care what you do, but just be passionate about it and do it well. And he struggled as a young kid and a teenager to figure out what that looked like for him.
Yeah.
As I think most people probably do. And what was interesting is he went to culinary school and realized he had a passion for cooking, but he really wanted to dig into the details and learn and had this drive. And he knew cooking was it, but then it was I need something else. I need something more. And so he took a trip to Italy, and I think he went to Bologna first. And he met this woman who taught him the art of how to make pasta by hand.
Amazing.
And he spent 3 months there literally studying. From the episode, he says he barely left the school and just really dove into what it is to do something with your hands.
I love
and
that.
So it was so great. And the overwhelming kind of theme of the episode for me and how it relates is, we are seeing in today's world dying arts. And those dying arts are things that humans do. Not tools, not machines, and not AI. There are certainly ways where those can enhance.
Sure.
But the whole thought that I had from this is like, it's so true. Like we are getting maybe 1 to 2 generations away from removing all intimacy and relationships from some things that make up the human race.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, there's something about technology, as you alluded to, which is it can be an incredible tool. And our advancements in our society can make things more efficient, save time, etc. But what I also find interesting about that correlation is that there's also some dialogue now happening around anxiety and how, because so much has become automated, our survival brain does not know what to do if we don't have something to do. So we've eliminated all of these very hands-on practices, and now we're connected to a device that oftentimes is causing us to feel that there's FOMO. It's this false sense of connection and community. We're isolated and we don't have enough to do, in particular with our hands, things that would advance our normal day-to-day lives that now there's a tool for, there's an app for, there's a better appliance for. And now that human condition, it's like we haven't evolved enough to know for our brains to understand the difference. I am probably butchering that research, but the crux of it was it's causing people to feel incredibly anxious. And I don't disagree with that.
I think it's something that we really need to start paying attention to. And I think it's why many people probably don't feel as fulfilled and what their craft is.
Yes.
Because they are not actually the ones using their hands and emotions and to do their craft.
Exactly. We talk about this, this dying breed. We noticed that in conservatory, when I think about being in conservatory in the early to mid 90s or mid to late 90s, we would talk about the old way of doing it, which was a singer would go to the country that they connected with the music. They would work with their teacher. And it was very much, it was a full immersive experience. And what their job was to do was to learn their craft. And that meant a constant, full immersion.
Yeah.
And we have seen that as life has gone forward and the ability to have the resources to not have to sustain oneself with other means and just to be able to focus solely on their craft has become a lost art. And honestly, it just has been prohibitive.
Yeah.
With the way life is today, that we're seeing less and less and less of those musicians or those artists come out of these training programs because it just doesn't have, it's not the same anymore. It's not the same skill. And we're seeing that the quality of what has come out in that art form is not the same as the great legends of the past, because it's the dynamic and the way that it's set up for people to study is very different than it used to be.
And it's interesting because I think, by the way, my phrase of the day is, it's interesting. So you can count how many times I say that.
Oh, should we have a Yeti drinking game for that?
Yeah, we should. Yes, let's do it. On. Okay, starting now.
Great.
I think that...
You want to say it.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was good. Thank you.
Good. It's just water.
Me and my jasmine tea.
I go back and I think about when I went to my first concert, and it was a George Strait concert,
Good concert, I bet.
Good concert. And he was a musician on stage with a guitar.
See?
And it was pure talent.
Yes.
It was a great show. And it was someone using the craft that they were God gifted with.
Yes.
Right?
And that they had honed.
Yeah. And now you fast forward and people like the George Straits and those that are truly just artists that get up on stage and sing.
Yes.
Now it's this demand and quest and need for bigger and better and brighter
Highly produced.
and produced.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many of the people we see in concert now aren't somehow, it's not their actual voice. It's been auto-tuned or, because they're having to dance around the stage so much. I mean, you couldn't do a 3-hour concert and not have some kind of enhancement
Sure.
or, and all the production that now goes around. It's like, what happened to just putting someone on stage with a guitar?
Well, there's that, of course, the age-old expression of the KISS statement of keep it simple. I mean, people say stupid, but keep it simple, sweetheart. Yeah. I'm going to use that. Or sassy one, whatever. We'll change that. Boy. But I say that because I have noticed that when we don't keep things simple, we create this flurry of activity and energy around something that is actually causing us to be more stressed, more anxious, more frazzled than just sitting in whatever it is and knowing that that's enough, that just showing up and doing your absolute best is enough. And now it's become, but it has to be produced and it needs to be Instagram worthy and it needs to be this and that. And what I find, interesting is that, I find that...
I just took a drink of water.
Everyone. I know, exactly. Thank you. In studying watercolor, there is no way for me to not do that any other way than to sit with it and do it with my own hands. I can't automate watercolor.
Right.
It slows me down. It causes me to be in the moment, and just the actual medium, it is very temporary. It can be you can wet it again and try it a different way. You can add to it, take away. It's fluid. I mean, legitimately, but from that standpoint, it keeps me in the moment. And it's in those moments, there's a reason I use it as my morning or late night meditation, because it just slows everything down to a quiet, that quiet when it's not about, I have 40,000 thoughts in my head about what I need to do tomorrow. It's that wide open space where you feel like your brain finally has a cathedral to it, where you just feel like, okay, in this moment, I am present, I am quiet, and I am just being. I'm not doing, I'm being.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that I have a paintbrush and some paints and I'm sitting moving things around on paper to create something.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, I think, that it is really hard for me not to say, it's interesting. But I think that what is sad is that we now have this focus in our world, in our society, that is on how much can I make? How much can I do? And instead of focusing on what do I truly feel passionate about? What do I truly feel like my God-given talents are, or something that I can do with my hands and be proud of? The problem is that to make pasta by hand, or what are some other things that we've lost? To just get up on a stage with a guitar and sing doesn't drive the revenue. To now this guy that I talked to, Evan Funke, he actually became and is an extremely successful restaurateur with his restaurants and chef, but he stayed true to what he was passionate about.
Because he stuck to what was authentic to him.
And he, like you said, immersed himself into it and allowed these women in Italy to teach him the craft. And he honors them. He puts whichever woman taught him the specific type of pasta he rolled.
Yeah.
He named that pasta after that woman to pay homage to those who are still living this craft and keeping this going. But And why I want to bring that up is we, I think, are afraid to say, like, listen, I'm not going to stop everything I'm doing right now and become a watercolorist, right?
I wish.
Right? You wish. But so that if you did stop everything and you went somewhere and spent 3 months or more and years and just dedicated your life, your soul to that art.
Yes.
Right? And you put everything into it, then I do in my gut and soul feel like it could become a fulfilling success story for you.
Of course it could.
You know, it may not make the money that something else does.
Right.
But you would be incredibly fulfilled. Those around you would raise you up with your craft and your art and your talents. So that's where I'm saying it's like, it's hard because we all get so focused on what's the next thing, or we need to upgrade our house. We need to get a new car. We need to pay for college. We need all the things that, yes, we absolutely have to do, but
we don't.
Or maybe we don't.
I mean, maybe that's what we're ultimately saying.
Yeah.
I have legitimately had thoughts over the past several months. You know that I've been to New Mexico twice in the past year and was most recently in Taos in May. Mm-hmm. And Georgia O'Keeffe, an artist that I very much talk about paying homage to, like very much respect and love what a trailblazer she was. And when we went to Santa Fe, and then when we went to Taos, both experiences were connected through Georgia O'Keeffe. And when we went back to Taos in May, we ended up going to where she lived. And we went out into the northern mountains of New Mexico to see the places where she painted. Mm. And when I was there in that moment, it's still that same feeling that I have when I'm actually painting, which is this just extreme level of peace and satisfaction. It's not that I am some amazing artist. It has nothing to do with the outcome. What it has to do with is the actual practice.
Yeah.
And I have thought multiple times when I'm getting stressed out about work or whatever's going on in my world, I stop and remember the feeling that I had when I was standing looking at the mountains, going, there is a part of my soul that does in fact want to spend months in the mountains of New Mexico to paint.
Yeah.
And what that's ultimately telling me is that there is a part of me that will always want to honor and appreciate the art of slowing down. Mm. And that sometimes we need to slow down to speed up. So to your point about fulfillment, there is something gratifying about that process that then enhances the other aspects of your life. What we've done is we've removed that and we've said, just go, 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 be better, 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 faster, quicker. You know, it's just like the pedal is to the metal, right? Mm-hmm. And it's exhausting. The car eventually runs out of gas if you don't stop to fill it. So at some point, isn't that our responsibility? If we're sensing that, then it's our job as individuals to be able to demonstrate that there is another way. It doesn't have to be to burnout or till the tank runs out of gas. We really can take the time to learn and to digest whatever information, skills, talents, education there is to then be better, because it not only improves the craft itself, it improves us as human beings. And isn't that the ultimate goal?
Yeah, it's right. It's balance. You know, we are.
Or is it harmony? I've been thinking a lot about that. Is there such thing as balance when we're in our late 40s? We see retirement up ahead. We have kids that are growing up, kids that are in school, aging parents. There's so many pieces going on. It's hard to find balance.
Yeah.
So I understand that for every season, it requires a different part of ourselves. But if we can put it all together and make it harmonious, right, where it, there's nothing better than that chord that hits when you hear it and it's like, okay, that's a beautiful chord. That's harmony, right? That's a beautiful moment. I feel like that's what I'm looking for in my life is ways to have continuous harmony, knowing that in every season, it may be out of balance. You and I have talked about this so many times in building a business.
Yeah.
Sometimes that requires all of you to do that. And other things may take you may sacrifice other things. Same thing when you have a newborn baby. It's like, right now, this is my season. I'm in this season. That's going to have to wait. And I think if we can find that harmony, it's key.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that that's an important lesson, or important, just we need to realize that every day is a gift. Every day you should find, to your point, some harmony in it, that we all work our tails off, and we are high achievers, and high achievers do 600 things in a day that only can hold 400 things. And
what? I don't know anything about that.
I don't know.
And I know you don't either. I mean, like,
but to your point, I think when we start to feel the anxiety and the pressure, it's because we're not in balance or in harmony with what is fulfilling to us. We're just machines. We're turning ourselves into machines instead of embracing things that we can do with our minds, with our hands, that has nothing to do with paying a bill, has nothing to do with putting money in the bank, but it's a different kind of bank, to your point.
Absolutely.
It's filling the tank.
A soul bank.
It's a soul bank. Soul Bank. Brought to you by Soul Bank.
Can we also have soul music that goes with that? Because I would appreciate that. Yeah. Well, how are you finding for yourself? I know right now, you know this personally speaking, that I started painting when my daughter went to school. My daughter, as though you don't know who she is, Lila.
Yes.
When Lila went to college, my soul I literally said, I need to go buy paints. And Jim was like, then go buy some paints. I've never picked up a paintbrush in my life. I'd never done anything like that, but I needed to. So that has been very helpful. And I am getting ready to do an immersive class and like being able to sit in that. My question for you, have you found what that is for you?
I think I have. And I think
love that.
I know, but it's been like just recently where I realized I'm just starting to try and listen to what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And
you're following the clues.
Yeah, I'm following the clues, and I can literally sit and watch baking shows all day long. And I think it's so fascinating. So to be continued, I've been like, maybe I should just take a class. Maybe I should go and learn how to make croissants or something, you know? So that's kind of, I think, where I'm going to start exploring that a little bit. Because I do love to bake. I do love to bake. And I love watching and everything about it. But I think
this is amazing. I know that we've spoken recently about high achievers and rest.
Yeah.
And how we were talking about how there's a need for that rest, and that we were going to hold each other accountable for that need and to do that.
Yeah.
I love that this is also that, which is now it's like finding harmony in what we're doing in these other non-monetary ways.
Yeah.
Also super important. So
to you, I'll coin this, the art of slowing down.
The art of slowing down.
I find that interesting.
Do you find that interesting? I really wish, if you're listening, these are those moments that Debbie and I just live for, because we're always finding some sort of humor in every moment.
Yes.
Those watching, you get it.
You get us.
We've got our Yetis. Are we calling this a Yeti and Yap?
A Yeti and Yap today. Thank you so much for joining us for Jenn and Deb's Yeti and Yap.
And here we are yet again, and scene.
Well, this was great. I really appreciate the whatever we did.
Me too.
Whatever this was, I really appreciate it.
Thank you for introducing us to a new show. I now need to go watch Chef's Table on Netflix.
Yes, absolutely. It's really good.
Oh, I can't wait. All right. Okay. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Thanks for joining us. If you loved this episode and know of someone who would find value in it, please spread the word and share it with a friend. We are passionate about redefining success, and it would mean the world if you could help us get our mission out to as many people as possible. Please take a minute to write a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Connect with us on Instagram at Success Resequencing Project or via our website at www.successresequencing.com. We'd love to hear your story.